What's going on? Welcome to episode 11 of your weekly Wheaties. Last week, I talked about how to be frugal buying hardware, technology, laptops, things like that. This week, I want to talk about how to be frugal when you're buying software. Specifically software as far as apps, but things that you would use on the computer, things that are commonly referred to as software as a service, shortened to SaaS, SaaS. That's the common acronym that's used when we talk about SaaS, or software as a service products, online, which essentially is a reoccurring monthly fee that you would pay for access to some software. You've done this all the time with software, you just don't really call it software. So when I talked about cord cutting, your typical cable bill is now replaced by a software as a service, sometimes referred to as Hulu, Disney Plus, Amazon Prime, YouTube TV, that types of thing. So what do I mean when we talk about SaaS on a computer? Well, in your daily workflow at work, whether you own a business, small business, or work for a larger business, chances are you use some type of SaaS. The most common is probably Microsoft Office, Adobe Suite, using like Photoshop and all of the video editing programs that are popular under the Adobe license, all function as a SaaS now. You pay a monthly subscription for X amount of users, and that's how you get access to their product. Your webmail, all of that is typically like Office, Microsoft Office with Word and Excel and PowerPoint. Those typically work as a SaaS in the more recent time. You pay, again, a basic fee per month or per year, depending on how you pay for it, and you get access to it. Now, 99 times out of 100, whatever SaaS you pay for, there's probably either a free or an open sourced alternative to any paid version you might have. Free can be one of two ways. One of three ways, really. Either the software is straight up free, you never have to pay for it, there's no upgrades, it's not a premium service where you get it for free and you have to pay for more features. It's just straight up a free service to use. Google search is a common free service, right? You don't have to pay to use Google. There's no upgrade to use Google for a paid version. Google offers other services that are paid, which we'll probably talk about, but by and large, Google.com as a search engine is free to use. Then you have what's known as open source software, where it's mainly free software again, but the source code is actually open to interpretation, open for people to submit changes for its use. Bitcoin is an example of this. Bitcoin by itself isn't free, but to use Bitcoin, it doesn't cost you anything other than the gas fees on the network. But the technology underlying Bitcoin is free, which is why people can create their own coins using the Bitcoin blockchain. It's open source because based on how much you submit to Bitcoin, how much you hold, how much you mine, you can suggest changes and updates, and they will look at that list of features that people submit and see what's going to work, and they'll update it as it's needed. A lot of bigger companies are using something similar to a website called uservoice.com, where users of their software can go submit not bug features, but like updates and things they want to see, and people can upvote them, and the ones with the most votes, typically you should see that company implement those updates. Doesn't always happen. Then we get into the free versions of software where it's like a free trial. And this is where it's either limited on what they give you access to, like limited on features, or limited on time. If it's limited on time, I'm still okay with that because it gives you access to test out their system, which I'm a big fan of. I hate when companies offer a paid version of something and there's no way to test it. You can't see if it's going to do what you want or work with your system or not be blocked by your network, whatever it might be. So free trials are okay. You just use an email, you sign in. Some of them will require a credit card up front. If they do, my suggestion is go watch the video on how to use privacy.com, create a $1 card, use that card. That way they can't charge you for something, especially if you're not going to use it, right? So that's a way you can get around the free trial. Then we talked about free trials with feature limits. I'm not wholeheartedly opposed to these. However, I've been burned twice now. And I'm going to call these companies out, not because I dislike them. I actually still use them. I use other services similar. But I want to point out what can happen just to prepare you. That's what this podcast is about. I don't advertise for any company unless I disclose that. So none of this is a paid advertisement. None of my previous videos have been paid advertisements. I just like to talk about what works for me and softwares that are out there to give you an idea of what to look out for. So for example, again, not trying to talk you out of using this company or into using this company, just using it as an example. Hootsuite is a company that allows you to schedule social media posts. If you notice, all of my videos come out on Thursdays at 3:30. I don't sit around a computer waiting to post them at 3:30. I use a service that does that for me. Maybe I'll talk about what I use in a future episode. That's not the point. Hootsuite allows you today to schedule 5 posts in the future on 2 social media websites. So like Facebook is an example and Twitter is an example. In the past, they used to let you have 5 accounts connected. So think Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, LinkedIn, right? There's your 5. And then you could schedule up to 30 posts into the future. Well, back when that was an offering, that was a great offering. But since the company has gotten larger and they can't sustain the free models as much, they still wanted to do something. And that's a way for you to test it, to see if it's going to work, to see if you like the interface, to see if it functions as you expect it to function. So the free version today still might suffice for what you're trying to do. For some people, it doesn't, which is why they have a paid option in the free version. Love it. IFTTT, which stands for If This Then That, is a service similar to what Zapier offers today. And I don't know if they were out before Zapier. I just heard about them before Zapier. But you could have, I think, 50 Zaps, or similar to Zaps, 50, they call them recipes. So 50 recipes where you said, if this happens over here, do this over there. And I think now they limit it to like 3 recipes. Again, which might be fine for some of you. Helps you figure out if you like the system. Helps you figure out if what you want will work. If you wanted to upgrade to the paid version. Again, I have no problem with that. I just like to point out that anybody that offers a free service, there's a running joke in the marketing world that if something is free, you're the product. That still might be true. And when they say you're the product, it means they're making some money off of you somehow, whether they're selling something of yours or using your data as research to get more clients and customers. But they can't sustain having a ton of free accounts all the time, so you got to expect that that's going to happen. Which is why I want to give you guys an alternative. Because if you're like me, you might not can support financially the Hootsuite or the IFTTT Pro versions or whatever they're called. Excuse me for not looking them up in advance. So you want to look elsewhere. Well, my app pick of the week is actually something I'm going to explain pretty in depth in this video, and then I'm going to show how it works on the other video. But AppSumo.com is a website that functions as an online marketplace for digital goods. And what they do is they team up with businesses who market to other businesses, known as B2B, or they market to customers, B2C. So business to customers, business to business. And AppSumo has all of these services as a software as a service on their website, and they sell them at a hugely discounted price on their website to people like you and me who either want to use it for personal use, your small business, or even large business in some cases. A lot of them can support unlimited users in some cases as well. So how does this happen, and what does this mean for us, and what does it mean for the company? Well, it's tricky. I know these softwares aren't fully like beta testing, but I like to explain it like a beta test. So what happens is as softwares get more and more customers using them, they have different issues. Technical limitations, like what they're using to do and to run the app on, sometimes they have to change it as their user base kind of goes up and up and up. Completely expected, that's normal in the software world. That's why they have services that offer this. Amazon Web Services, Microsoft Azure, those are two of the bigger players. And they've been able to scale a lot more in more recent times, but just in general in the past, if you were to build out your own website or your own app and you hosted it on a normal domain name hosting service or web hosting service, similar to like GoDaddy or something, they can't support the users that these other institutions can, like Amazon and Microsoft. So then these companies, as they're growing and get these growing pains, they need more users to kind of test out the system. Alternatively, they are trying to do the 80-20 rule, right? They want to spend 20% of their time on development that's going to cover 80% of what their user base actually wants. But if they don't have a large enough user base giving them feedback, it's hard for them to know what to attack to work on development for next. Insert AppSumo. So AppSumo can work with this business and say, hey, we have these hundreds of thousands of customers. If you sell us your product at a discount so we can pass it on to our customers, we can get you a ton of users in a short amount of time, and you can use their data to basically know what to do next. It helps your business grow. It helps these users get a great software at a great price. As the middleman, AppSumo gets to make money, gets to grow their business as well, get more customers, get more businesses. It's a win-win-win all the way around. The downside is some of these businesses, well, actually a lot of them, it's a downside and a plus side. They offer what's known as a lifetime license. So rather than having to pay a monthly fee every month for so many users, you can pay a one-time fee that pays for your access to their service literally for the lifetime of your account. In some cases, that lifetime is the lifetime of the software that you're paying for. Meaning, if that business shuts down or goes out of business because they can't sustain the customers with the funds that they have, you lose your account. The other downside is if that business gets large enough to get bought out by a larger company, which has happened a bunch of times because these softwares are great softwares, a lot of cases, so they get people looking at them. One of two things happen. Either the company that bought them out will recognize the lifetime license and honor it, or they basically say, sorry, you're up the creek, you have to be a paying customer on a monthly basis now. I've seen both happen, and I've been a part of softwares that I've purchased that both has happened. One went great, one went not so great. That's not a fault of the people who run these companies because they're in this to make money, right? If they don't make money, they can't sustain as a business. They can't offer you a product that you use. So if they get bought out, that's great for them. It might not be great for you, but what you have to look at is what you paid for, did you at least get your money's worth? And if you at least got a year or two out of the software, then that's probably a good thing for you and for them, right? Win-win-win again. In some cases, this company gets big enough that they buy out other companies, and your product that you now have grows, and what you paid a really pennies on the dollar, if you will, for a product, you get a lot more bang for your buck now. I've actually had that happen to me before as well. There's a lot of larger companies out there that have been on AppSumo that you're like, holy cow, I didn't think that company would be on there. You can go on their website and search for past deals and like their most popular deals. There's always something, and there's always alternatives for something else that's out there. Prime example, I was looking for a project management type of software. I don't like to throw around names of software too much because I don't want y'all to feel like I'm trying to talk you into buying something. I don't have affiliate links unless they're blatantly obvious. But for work, I use a software called Monday.com, and I love it, and it works great. And back in December, there was a kind of a carbon copy of a Monday.com, And if you went on AppSumo and you typed in Monday.com as if that was a piece of software you were looking for, they would show you alternatives to that. Well, the alternative that was up at the time, I really almost pulled the trigger, but there was a couple things that it was missing that I really needed, was like a go or no go for me. To their credit, I think they offer one of them now. I still don't know if they've been updated to the other one because I have the free version and I check on it every once in a while. But I waited. Here we are, 6 months later, 7 months later. I need something else because what I was using wasn't really working for me. I was using the free version of Monday.com and I was hitting some limits. I couldn't do what I needed to on the free version. And again, small YouTube channel, I couldn't afford something larger. So I went on AppSumo, I typed in Monday, or I think I typed in project management, or I might have looked around in the categories and I found something else. I purchased a lifetime license. I think it was $59. And I don't have any monthly fees, and I have uninhibited access to the software. There are limitations as far as like tiers sometimes. The first tier, I think this one was $59 for 10 accounts, but like unlimited boards, which is what I needed, the unlimited boards feature. I'm only going to be one, army of one, if you will, until I get some. If I were to get large enough to hire people to help me out, that would be amazing, but that's not expected. I'm just doing this kind of for fun and to kind of help out some friends and family. The next tier might have been like 25 accounts, I believe, and then like 50 accounts. I don't think the software I purchased had an unlimited offering, but they do if you go to the website itself. You just have to pay the monthly fee. So it's a great website to test out software. And if you're a small business or a business of one like I am, or just a handful of people, and you need some type of software to help you function, and you're tired of paying monthly fees for something that you're only using like 10% of the software of, which I know happens because I've talked to a lot of y'all, I would advise you to go check out AppSumo.com. Again, I'm not a paid person of them. I'm just a happy customer. I've purchased tons of software from them for my own personal use and businesses that I help and consult for on the side. It's been around for years. I trust them. Like I said, I've purchased, I know, 10 plus pieces of software from them before. And I've always had good customer service. I've never had an issue buying or getting a refund when I needed to do it in the past. You can go on there and see customer reviews of people who have purchased this, what they think. Generally speaking, 9 times out of 10, the owners, or at least a person of this software that's being listed, will answer questions and comment on questions that you can go and post at the bottom of the pages of the software too, which is a really great feature. I'm glad that they do that to make sure that us as customers know that at least there's somebody on the other end and it's not a bot just automatically responding to these things. They want their software to be great and grow, because if it works great for them on AppSumo and you go tell your friends about it, like I'm telling you right now, other people would go buy it. Their software gets better. They get more money. The developers can support it long term. You get a great product as a customer. They get a great product as the people you refer. The business itself is sustainable. It's a win-win-win, right? It makes AppSumo look good because they can say, hey, look at all these great products we have. Look at how they go on in the future and be great and grow with their customers and their client base, right? So overall, I think what they're doing is great. There's a bunch of other websites that function similar to AppSumo. I don't have enough experience with them to fully vet them and share them with you, but AppSumo is one of the really popular ones, which is why it's my app pick. And I'm kind of cheating because they don't have an app. It's just a website. But the website's mobile friendly, and a lot of the apps that they sell on that website do have mobile apps. You got to do your due diligence because not all of them do. But overall, I think it's a great website. I think you'll find something that would function for your workflow. And again, part of being frugal is making something work for you and not necessarily finding the exact end-all be-all solution. So if you can pay 20% of the cost that you are paying, and this app, if you will do 80% of what you need, that's a win in my book. So hope you like it. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you find something that works for you. If you do, let me know. What softwares are you using that you've purchased from AppSumo? Or what softwares are you using that the free version's working for you, or that's worth paying for in some cases. At work, Monday.com is great. It's completely worth paying for. We use it to the fullest that it can offer. But it's a prime and pretty expensive or a pricey software, so it's not for everybody. But for us, it works great, and it's completely worth the price. So till next time, see ya.